In our continuing series on It's Not My Money, a look at the 2024-2025 free agency class, we're going to talk about Blake Treinen. I guess nickname of Train. I hadn't seen that before. But Blake Treinen, where would the Dodgers be without Blake Treinen in the 2024 postseason? I can tell you where they'd be. They would have been eliminated probably in the first round. Um, that's the facts. Um, Blake Treinen, of course, has been with the Dodgers since 2020. In fact, I remember being the first one out there advocating for getting him. I wrote an article for Dodgers Nation about for when I was working for them about getting him. You can look it up. Look it up. Tim Rogers, Blake Treinen. You'll find it. I was advocating for him back in 2019 after the A's did not tender him a contract. And so Blake Treinen has been, a very important player in the Dodgers over the last few years, and for good and for not so good. Missing him has been one of the problems. Let's, taking a look at some of what he's done for the Dodgers here. Let's go to the numbers. So the guy they got him in 2020, and he was key member of the bullpen. He was a guy that would come in and be the actual fireman, not the closer, but the fireman. He would come in when the game was could get out of hand, but not in the ninth inning. And he was a guy, I remember watching him, strike out guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis with just some nasty stuff. 2020, 2021, he was really good, really important with a 1.99 ERA in 72 games. And then in 2022, and some of this happened. If you recall, there was the lockout strike, whatever, and he seemed to that really hurt him, and so his shoulder was impacted, and he pitched a little bit for them. Numbers are interesting, but he wasn't the velocity wasn't quite the same. Um, the Dodgers had, they he could have had the surgery in 2022 right away, but the Dodgers were. This is my speculation. I know trying in credits that God healed him and things like that, and to a point, but the Dodgers they had a choice. They'd invested money in him, and if he would have pitched in and been really healthy for 2022, he might have made a difference. Yeah, for that team in the playoffs against the Padres. He really didn't though. He wasn't really that good, but they were hoping he would be. And if he would have had, no matter when he had the surgery, it wouldn't have mattered. He was going to miss a lot of time. So they tried to do it, didn't work. 2023, it, didn't pitch at all for them. But 2024 was looking good in spring training. And then all of a sudden he got whacked by a line drive, in his back, ribs, whatever that was. And he was out for quite a bit. But he ended up coming back and having a nice year. In 46 innings, 56 strikeouts, only 11 walks, 33 hits. That's super valuable. And if we want to really take it a bit further, let's go. Let's start going to what he did for us in the postseason. I don't care about the wild card. Um, Division series in 2024. 3 games, 3.2 innings, 2 saves against the Padres. He was on the mound for the final out. He was on the mound for the final out. Then against the Mets. Against the Mets, he did, 3 games again. had another save. Again, he was made the final outs. 4.1 innings, 7 Ks. World Series, he got knocked around a little bit because really they were extending him, folks. In some of those, against the Yankees. Oh, wait, yeah, against the Yankees. So, 3 games, no saves, 4.1 innings, including 2.1 that really mattered in Game 5. 5 hits, gave up runs, but that was he was throwing a little more than usual, doing those things. But I think overall, if you look at his, let's do postseason cumulative for 2024. Would I want a reliever that's going to pitch in 9 games, have 3 saves, in a reliever these days throwing 12.1 innings in 9 games, and striking out 18? Yep, he's 36 years old. You can see it. He's 36. No one throws the video game ball like Mr. Treinen. Let's go back. Let's go to the Savant page real quick. Sorry about that. His Savant page, he doesn't qualify for things. His pitching run value is great. His fastball run value is above average. His breaking ball run value is great. He doesn't really throw off speed. Everything is what? It's the sweeper, the sinker, the cutter, and the 4-seam. You can see you can see where he peppers it, right? The sinkers is in this quadrant over here. In the right, you can see that it's all orange, and then the red is the 4-seam. The cutter is the, I guess, purpley, and then I don't know, whatever color it is. You can see the sweeper over there and his usage and how he throws those pitches. It's video game movement that he has, folks. And I think there's value there. He only had a $1 million contract. Now, some of that was because the way the Dodgers worked some of his contract. In fact, I'm going to look at what his contracts have been, because I think it's interesting how it all worked out. Real quick, and so I think there's a guy who goes out and coming into free agency and goes all in for his for the team is someone you want to at least consider. You can see that. Here we go to it. In 2023, he made $8 million not pitching, then $1 million this year. That it was a club option. Now he's a free agent. So I think there's you can see his other contracts. Let's see, other contracts 2021 to 2022. So that was this 2021 to 2022 was signed after his successful 2020 season, where he made 2 years, $17.5 million. This one was a 1 year, $80 million. Sorry, with that club option. So let's see what happens with Blake Treinen. I think that he's worth bringing back. I don't think you want too many old dudes in the bullpen, but I think with some smart usage of Treinen, it's about October. You be smart with him. Him missing some of that time probably didn't hurt. And I think we see that with guys that miss significant time during the season. We're a little more fresh for the playoffs. So I would highly advocate keeping Blake Treinen. I don't know what that contract is. The reliever contracts are insane. Aaron Bummer getting 2 years, $13 million. Ugh. Blake Treinen is way better and way more valuable. So we'll see how that works out. The Dodgers don't like to pay relievers, but they sometimes don't mind paying their own relievers. And so let's hope that they can find a way to keep Blake Treinen. just to have that guy that you can trust in the postseason. I know I keep ranting on that. I think with every one of these players I've talked about, every one of the players that I've talked about with that have been Dodgers have had significant value in the playoffs and have shown they can play. And you need a lot of those guys, so bring them all back. That's all I got to say on that. As always, thank you very much. This is another in the series of It's Not My Money, talking about the 2024-2025 off-season free agents. As always, God bless and go Dodgers.